Hello and welcome to Toronto Union Station. Today we're headed to Vancouver, climbing aboard Canada's greatest train, the Canadian. The last of the true transcontinental trains in North America, the Canadian is a living, breathing piece of railroading history. Over the next 4 days, we'll travel more than 4,000 kilometers through dense forests, endless prairies, and the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains, all from the comfort of our classic stainless steel rail cars. On board, we'll enjoy cozy sleeper cabins, incredible chef-prepared meals, and unbeatable views from the famous dome cars. This is slow travel at its finest, where the journey is just as incredible as the destination. So settle in, grab a window seat, and let's experience one of the world's most legendary trains. Our journey begins at none other than Toronto Union Station, the eastern terminus for the Canadian. The 1927 station is the largest and busiest station in Canada and serves trains from Via Rail and Go Transit, plus Amtrak's Maple Leaf to New York and Toronto's Union Pearson Express to Toronto Pearson International Airport. Just beyond the front doors is the absolutely incredible Station Hall. The 250-foot-long Great Hall hosts Via Rail's ticketing and information desks, stairways down to the station's shops and restaurants, and access points to the 3 train concourses. Our first stop today is the Business Class Lounge, where we'll check in for the Canadian. It's here where we receive our meal reservations for the first day of travel. We'll be in the 3rd seating today, with each meal slip covering both lunch and dinner. The lounge itself is reasonably large, but it is packed on this occasion, with all the Canadian's passengers waiting for the journey to begin. Complimentary to all Business Lounge passengers are a selection of hot and cold beverages. The first boarding call rings out over the PA system about 30 minutes before departure. Heading down through the Via Concourse, we make our way to track 17 before ascending to the platform to meet our train. Here it is, Train 1, the Canadian. We'll be traveling in Car 112, Room D, a double suite. Setting our stuff down, it's immediately off to the dome car to get ready for departure. The clock hits 9:55, our train powers to life, and the Canadian begins to roll out of Toronto. The Canadian will take us 2,775 miles to Vancouver while traversing 5 of Canada's provinces. Day 1 begins in Toronto, traversing much of Ontario and the Canadian Shield with its granite cliffs and pristine lakes. Day 2 continues our journey through Canada's boreal forest, Winnipeg, Manitoba the effective halfway point as we arrive at sunset. The vast prairies of Manitoba and Saskatchewan are the feature of Day 3, offering endless golden fields under open skies. Day 4 opens with a stop in Jasper, Alberta, before entering the Canadian Rockies for the scenic highlight of our journey west. The sun greets us at journey's end on the morning of Day 5, Vancouver's Pacific Central Station welcoming the Canadian at the end of the line. We'll cover the first half of this incredible train today, with Days 3 and 4 covered in Part 2 of our transcontinental journey. The first landmark on the Canadian is spotted just beyond the platforms of Toronto, the CN Tower. It's so tall and close to the tracks that the only way to really see it is from the wraparound windows of the Skyline dome car. While the dome is great for sightseeing, we're also here to enjoy a bon voyage snack and toast. Passengers are served mimosas in light bites, the excitement palpable in the air as we roll out of the city. As we leave Toronto behind, I want to take a second to thank you all for 40,000 subscribers. What a journey it's been. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for choosing to support the channel. It's because of all of you that I'm motivated to come back week after week and strive to make the best content I can. I couldn't have done what I do for so long without all of you, so when I say thank you, know that I mean it. Seriously, thank you. Toronto quickly fades into the rural landscapes of eastern Ontario. Springtime may be right around the corner, but there's still a thick coat of snow across the ground, a little taste of the weather to come. From our perch in the central Skyline car, we have an incredible, unobstructed view of our train sweeping its way around the curves of the main line. There are 3 dome cars on today's train, 2 Skyline and 1 Park. The car we're in now is a Skyline dome car, the series manufactured between 1954 and 55 for the Canadian Pacific Railway. The defining feature of the Skyline cars are their characteristic domes, elevating passengers above the train for a panoramic view of the scenery. Each dome is laid out in a 2x2 with mainly airline-style rows. The seats are very comfortable, making it easy to stay here for extended periods of time, as many do throughout the journey. The second type of dome car on our train is the Park car, located at the rear of the train. The Park car is home to the Bullet Lounge in Prestige class, which we'll have a look at here in a bit. While the dome is easily the best feature of the Skyline car, it does have some other aspects that make it the place to be. At the lead end of the car is a lounge with plenty of table seating for chatting, snacking, or just hanging out. Passing through to the other side of the car is where we'll find the open seating area with snacks, drinks, and games. Coffee, water, and juice are available for free throughout the journey, as are light snacks and fresh fruits. I found that throughout the entire trip I never needed more than what was offered, as the meals are more than enough food to keep me full. Now, we're on this train for the next 4 days, which can get quite boring for some. Via Rail recognizes this, which is why the Skyline car is also the activity car. Each day there will be new activities written out on the boards, ranging from information sessions about the train to movies and even beer and wine tastings. Returning to our perch, the Eastern Ontario views continue, the vibrant blue sky and patchy clouds making for a stunning backdrop to the snow-covered landscape. Ontario is known for some of the clearest waters in Canada, its name quite literally translating to beautiful water in the Iroquois languages. Washego is a great opportunity to see just how clear the waters are. From up in the dome, we can see straight through to the riverbed below. Traveling across Canada, you're bound to see some wildlife. A swan or two is a great sight, but how about a whole flock? So what is the Canadian and why is it so special? The Canadian is North America's last transcontinental passenger train and the last streamliner train still in service. The train started life under Canadian Pacific in 1955, running between Montreal and Vancouver via Sudbury, Regina, and Calgary. The service ran in parallel to Canadian National's Supercontinental, which ran on the Northern Transcontinental Line through Winnipeg, Saskatoon, and Edmonton. Via Rail took over passenger service on both routes in 1978, and just 3 years later, the Supercontinental was cut, with the Canadian shifting to the Canadian National tracks in 1990. Since then, the Canadian has run twice weekly between Toronto and Vancouver, holding strong as the last bastion of transcontinental service in North America. Now, there are two cars we haven't seen yet, and those are the Prestige cars found at the rear of the train. The first of these is a Prestige remodel of a traditional sleeper, but the last car on the Canadian is easily the best, the Park Car. The Park Car is part sleeper, part dome, and best of all, part lounge. This is the Park Car's Bullet Lounge, a wraparound lounge area with panoramic views of the scenery beside the train and of the tracks behind. The Bullet or Observation Lounge includes plenty of couch seating, with cup holders, reading lights, and outlets at each seat. With the Prestige overhaul, the lounge and the car as a whole got a new luxurious interior, one which brings you right back to the golden era of rail travel while still including a modern touch. Coffee and tea are always available in the Bullet Lounge, found beside the stairs up to the dome. If you're looking for a bit more or want a snack, then the Park Car's bar is the place to be. The bar offers the same light snacks and fruit as in the Skyline car, with alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages available for purchase. There's also a bit more seating if you're looking for a spot to enjoy a drink. Of course, the place to be in the Park Car is the Dome. The Dome seats here have been refurbished with a new brown leather, the first 3 rows of which are reserved for Prestige passengers at all hours of the day. Now, at peak travel season, the Park Car is limited to Prestige passengers only until 4 p.m. every day. This changes during the winter off-peak, with the car open to all passengers during all hours, which means we can enjoy the Park Car as much as we want. Sleeper passengers on the Canadian are treated to 3-course meals included in the price of their ticket. The first service for our journey is lunch, served in the dining car just behind the Skyline Dome car. The dining car is set with white tablecloths, proper dish and silverware, with an air of class drifting throughout the car. Lunch today starts with a soup or fruit juice, a choice of main course, and a delicious dessert. I started with the soup, followed by the barbecue pulled pork. The main course is served with a side salad and a bit of fruit, the serving size of which is quite generous. It's all very tasty, the lightly dressed salad pairing well with the savory pulled pork. Though I will say this is definitely a Canadian rendition of a dish I'm used to back in the States, so don't expect an American-style barbecue when ordering this dish. It's worth noting that non-alcoholic beverages are complimentary during all dining periods, though alcohol is a paid extra regardless of mealtime. As we dine, we fly up and over Parry Sound on Canadian Pacific's Parry Sound Trestle. last course of our lunch is dessert, which today is a slice of carrot cake, topped with caramel and a layer of cream cheese icing splitting the cake. It's a really excellent way to wrap up our first meal on the Canadian. While we ate, the weather outside slowly turned from a clear day to a heavy snowfall. While it's not the most scenic way to experience the landscape, it sure is a Canadian way to see it. Returning to the Skyline car, it's time for a presentation on the Canadian Shield, one of the largest geological formations in all of Canada. As the presentation begins, the snow picks up, the horizon and even the end of our train obscured in a white haze. What's not obscured is the forest just beyond the tracks, and if you keep your eyes peeled, you might just spot a wolf. The first signs of civilization in a few hours come in Capreol, our first fresh air break on the Canadian. Passing the Capreol Rail Museum, we pull into the snow-covered station. We've got about 15 minutes here, our train already delayed due to freight congestion. This is our first real chance to see the Canadian in all of its glory. These streamlined cars are truly one of a kind, their silver sides blending upward into the snowy sky. Right at the end is the park car. That wraparound end is unlike anything else on the rails today, bringing the Canadian to a close like the final movement in a beautiful symphony. Our train today is formed of 14 cars and 3 F40PH locomotives, adding up to a total length of 1,361 feet, or a little over a quarter of a mile. In the summer, the Canadian more than doubles, adding another diner, dome car, economy coach, prestige sleeper, and 3 to 4 regular sleepers. We're ushered back on board right as our 15 minutes expires, the crew eager to get us back underway. And I'm okay with that. Me and cold weather don't mix too well, so it's back to the warmth of the Canadian. The last activity of day one is a wine tasting, featuring wines from around Canada. This and all of the other activities on board are free to everyone, and they're a great way to meet your fellow travelers. As the sun sets, we all enjoy the wines and exchange travel stories. While you can keep to yourself on trips like this, I found that the people who choose to take a train across Canada are often the exact kind of people you want to chat with. You never know who you're going to meet, the friends you'll make, and the stories you'll write together. I gotta say that while the journey is spectacular, the people I met on board made this trip really something special. The group of you watching know exactly who I'm talking about, and I want to say thank you to all of you for making this experience just that much more enjoyable. Dinner is the last course of action on day one of the Canadian. As with lunch, dinner is a 3-course meal with a super salad, main course, and a dessert. Dinner this evening starts with a pretzel roll and a bowl of minestrone soup, followed by our excellent beef tenderloin. And when I say excellent, it really is. It's cooked to perfection with a rich sauce, creamy mashed potatoes, and grilled vegetables. You'll notice a theme throughout the journey of our food being excellent. Via prides themselves on their food and their chefs, with each chef on the Canadian boasting a Red Seal, a highly prestigious certification of apprenticeship in Canada. While our main course was delicious, we're not done yet. Dessert today is either a dulce de leche cheesecake or a chocolate fudge cake. Being the chocolate lover I am, I had to go with the chocolate cake. And what a way to finish day one. It is unbelievably rich and dense, with an intense chocolatey flavor. It's pretty much the epitome of death by chocolate, and I am here for it. While at dinner, our car attendant came by to convert our room from day to night. In its night layout, the double sleeper sees the bottom bunk fold out of the wall across the main seating area. The bed is fitted with a thick mattress, sheets, a plush comforter, and plenty of pillows, and it's perfect for a good night's sleep. For 2 passengers, the top bunk descends from the ceiling, a ladder installed to reach the upper bed. Each mattress is approximately 71 inches long by 31 inches wide, or 180 centimeters by 79 centimeters. Now that's a bit too short for me, but if you include the extra space just beyond the mattress, it's just long enough for me to stretch out fully and get comfortable. Before we head to bed, it's shower time. Each room includes a shower kit for each passenger, inside of which is a couple towels, shampoo, and a bar of soap. The shower for our car is found at the end of the hallway between the rooms and berths. Stepping inside, we enter the dry side of the shower room. The dry side isn't huge, but it's enough space to change in, though you'll be hard-pressed to do much more than that. There's a small stool to sit on, a trash can, and a towel disposal, with some rails on top to stop personal belongings from sliding off. Opening the glass door, we find the shower stall. It's smaller than the dry side, though not by much. The controls for the shower are a little different than what I'm used to. Passengers press the button on top to start the flow of water, the temperature of which is adjusted by the knob below. While it's not glamorous, as far as a train shower goes, it does the job. Shower done, it's time for bed. Getting comfortable under the covers, it's lights out on day one. We awake on day 2 somewhere in central Ontario. It's about 7 AM, the daylight just beginning to break through the trees. First stop, of course, is breakfast. Breakfast is the only meal on board that doesn't require a reservation and is served from 6:30 to 8:30 AM. Breakfast is also the only meal where the menu does not change daily, but the 5 options provide more than enough variety for our journey. For our first breakfast on our transcontinental trip, I had to go with the transcontinental breakfast. It's a usual mix of eggs, bacon, and hash browns, served with a muffin or toast. And I had to get the usual suite of coffee and orange juice. Heading over to the Skyline car, we can check the activity board to see what's in store for today. Looks like we're in for a talk on Canadian trees, a beer tasting, a movie in the afternoon, and a brief info session on things to do in Winnipeg ahead of our longer stop there. If breakfast wasn't filling enough, prepackaged pastries are available for the taking in both the Skyline and Park cars, and include muffins, croissants, and pain au chocolat. The trend of snowy weather continues from yesterday, and this time it's even heavier. The once visible economy Skyline car is now almost entirely obscured by the snow blowing off the ridged roofs of our train. Despite being a passenger train, the Canadian is the lowest priority train on the main line. As a result, we're frequently shunted aside to allow freight trains to pass. There's never any worry about these delays, as the schedule is very generous with time. The snow finally lets up, the entirety of our train now visible for the first time today. An event looked forward to by everyone is the meeting of the east and westbound trains. We slow coming into a siding, and around the curve ahead appears train number 2. It's all smiles and waves from train to train as the two silver snakes slither past each other, the crews of each train exchanging pleasantries over the radio. Heading back to our sleeper, it's time we take a look at what our sleeper cabin has to offer. We're staying in room D in car 112, the Franklin Manor. The Manor sleepers are one of 2 Budd-manufactured sleeper cars currently operated by Via Rail, with each car named after a distinguished English Canadian. Franklin Manor is named after Sir John Franklin, a famous Arctic explorer who led expeditions north into Canada in the 1800s. Room D is one of the 6 double cabins available on Manor sleepers. At 7 foot 3 inches by 5 feet or 214 by 152 centimeters, the room is very spacious, especially for a solo traveler. The room size notably does not account for the ensuite toilet, which adds an additional 5.5 square feet or 0.53 square meters. In its daytime configuration, double suites include 2 leather armchairs, both of which are very comfortable. They're well cushioned, recline, and they're not tied down, allowing them to be moved anywhere in the room. Information on our train, a route guide, and the Do Not Disturb placard are all found in a leather pocket mounted on the wall. Built into the wall opposite the seating area is the room's vanity. From top to bottom we find a bit of storage, a mirror light, a trifold mirror, and the sink. The sink doubles as a bit of table space, the tabletop flipping down to reveal the sink. The water pressure is plenty high, beside which is a drinking tap and a few smaller amenities, such as lotion, earplugs, and soap. A box of tissues is found beneath the sink. Beside the vanity are the room controls. The stack includes an attendant call button and toggles for the overhead lights, mirror light, bathroom light, fan, and the room's 2 outlets. Storage space in double suites comes in the form of an overhead luggage hold. There's more than enough space for my carry-on suitcase, camera bag, large backpack, and 2 shower kits. Additional storage is found by the door with a small cubby and coat rack located beneath the room's ventilation controls. And of course, each room gets a large window to enjoy the spectacular scenery. One of the best aspects of the double suite is the private ensuite bathroom. The bathroom is very small, but at least it's private. Hand face and regular towels are found hung on the bathroom door, with more included in the shower kits. Despite its size, the double suite does not include an ensuite shower, as we saw yesterday. Instead, passengers have access to the shared facility at the end of the car. Of course, booking a double suite comes with a significant price tag. For our journey between Toronto and Vancouver, I paid $1,402, a price which included an early booking discount and the Canadian Black Friday discount. While it's pricey, I thoroughly enjoyed the extra space afforded by the double suite and would certainly consider booking it again on a future journey. In addition to double suites, men or cars also include private roomettes and berths. Roomettes are the smaller of the two private sleeper accommodations. Unfortunately, all of the roomettes were occupied throughout the journey, so I didn't get any footage of those, but they do include a single seat during the day, with a small amount of storage and a sink in the corner. At night, a bed folds down from the wall behind the chair, spanning the room. The berths are easily the most different of the three sleeping accommodation types. During the day, each passenger is provided a couch for seating. At night, the two couches combine into a lower bed with a second upper berth folding down from the ceiling. Berths are a great way to get a lie-flat accommodation and complimentary meals for cheap. However, they do not include an outlet, so be prepared to go without power for quite some time. Our next opportunity to step off the train is Sioux Lookout, the transition point between forest landscape and flat farmland. It is, of course, cold, but it's not snowing, so I'll take it. The fresh air break is a perfect opportunity to head up to the front of our train to see the locomotives hauling us to Vancouver. Leading the Canadian are three F40PH locomotives. 6421 is on point, with 6441 and 6454 in tow. As with many towns along the Canadian, Sioux Lookout is a railway town, having been incorporated in 1912 while serving as a terminal and junction for the National Transcontinental Railroad. Safety is a big part of rail travel anywhere in the world, and a part of VIA's safety protocol is having one person in each car be briefed on how to operate the vestibule doors in the case of an emergency. Our car attendant chose me to be that person, so why don't we learn together? And if your car attendant is as cool as ours, she'll let you do it yourself. Departing Sioux Lookout, it's back to the Dome car to enjoy more of that Ontario scenery. Up in the Dome car is also where we'll have the beer tasting. The selection includes a mix of local beers and is an excellent way to pass the time. Would you look at that? Another freight train. we're on the third seating for lunch today, as we were yesterday. The lunch menu has changed to a new selection with a burger, tuna melt, falafel pita, and quinoa salad as the main course offerings. I went with the burger today, which comes served with a side of coleslaw and a piece of melon. While it's not the most exciting lunch option, it's still very good. The burger is juicy and the veggies fresh, though a bit of cheese would have been appreciated. Dessert today is a brownie and vanilla ice cream, a classic way to finish up a classic lunch. The tunnels and scenery continue back in the dome car. The snow has started up again, the landscape a haze beyond the window.
What I'm going to do now is just give you a little bit of information.
As we transition away from the forest lands, it's movie time. The movie today is The Legendary Canadian, a fitting documentary on the Canadian to watch on the Canadian. While it had been a gray day since we woke up, the sun finally began to break through the clouds as we crossed over into Manitoba. The crossing into Manitoba brought with it a stark transition into the farmland of central Canada. The next stop on the Canadian is Winnipeg, the effective halfway point of our journey. It's here where we'll change crews and the train will be cleaned. Passengers must either leave the train or remain on board for the duration of the stop, as the platform will be closed for 2 hours prior to departure. The stop unfortunately coincides with dinner on the Canadian, with the second seating expected to wrap up their meal right as the train arrives in Winnipeg. Now, it turns out we've managed to make up time. So much time, in fact, that we're pulling into Winnipeg an hour early. Normally that's not a problem, but I've booked the second dining, thinking we'll be finishing as we get into Winnipeg. With this extra hour, things have changed. We'll now be beginning dinner right as we pull in, which isn't ideal for seeing the sights. Anyway, we've got a bit before dinner, and hey, would you look at that? Canadian National sent a welcome party for our arrival into Winnipeg. All jokes aside, the freight traffic passes and the Winnipeg skyline emerges from the horizon. Dinner starts, as expected, right when we pull into Winnipeg. Dinner today comes from a choice of pork loin, cod, chicken Florentine, and a vegetable lasagna. Our starter today is a bowl of soup, followed by our massive pork loin. It's a massive cut of meat, served with a few potatoes and grilled vegetables. Dessert is a slice of key lime pie, something I'm not normally a fan of, but found delicious on this occasion. With our time in Winnipeg ticking, dinner is a speedy affair. Wrapping up, we can grab our coat and step off the train. Winnipeg Union Station is a masterpiece, designed by Warren and Wetmore, the same architects responsible for Grand Central Terminal. And stepping into the main hall, it's easy to see that Grand Central design. The main hall's rotunda is finished in that same green as the ceiling in Grand Central, the cream walls and gold accents bringing a refined and elegant charm to the station. The facade wears the same elegance, the grand entryway welcoming passengers into the halls of the station. With a couple hours to explore Winnipeg, what's there to do? One thing the crew recommends is exploring the Forks Market. The market is a short 2-minute walk from the station, the path there lined with historic railcars. While most things are closed by this hour, a few smaller businesses are still open and serving, so there's always something to see. And if you're somehow looking for a bite to eat after dinner, then head on over to the other side of the station to VJ's Drive-In, a burger joint that almost every crew member recommends.
The other door says entrance.
The cold weather means that while there's still time in our stop, we must retreat to the warmth of the station before reboarding the train. With everyone on board, it's time to continue our journey west. But departure time comes, and we don't move. An hour goes by, and we're finally told that one of our locomotives is having brake issues, which means we won't be leaving until 11 p.m., 90 minutes after our scheduled departure. It's just our luck that after arriving in Winnipeg an hour early, we're now 90 minutes late. But hey, what can you do? As we leave Winnipeg, it's time to bring part 1 of this adventure to a close. But stick around until the end, as there's one last thing to see. Before we wrap up, I want to say another massive thank you for 40,000 subscribers. Seriously, I can't thank each and every one of you enough for this incredible milestone, and I can't wait to see what journeys the future has in store. Anyways, if you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free, and it really helps support the channel. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my loyal patrons and members. Y'all are amazing, and your incredible generosity is always greatly appreciated. If you too want your name in the video, or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. While the day is done and this video is at its end, there's one last thing to see before we head to bed. If you're really lucky and the weather is right, then you just might be able to see the Aurora Borealis. And you might be thinking to yourself, Aurora Borealis at this time of day, at this time of year, in this part of the country, located entirely along the horizon? Well, yes. It's incredibly faint and only just above the horizon, but it's there. While the video doesn't do well to capture it, long exposure photographs do, so here's some shots of the aurora.
Barely comes through on the video. Just barely. Aurora Borealis. At this time of day, at this time of year.
Heading off to our room, it's time for bed. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the Canadian, and I'll see you in part 2. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.